Greetings, everyone. Again, we are here at the Good Book Overview, and we're already up to 3. So, the Good Book Overview, the final revelation, and we're on number 3. And this one is going to really be exciting. So, you better buckle up for this one because we get a glimpse of heaven. So, John gets to see what's going on in heaven. It isn't like, okay, he is going to see what's going to happen because there is scriptures that says, come up here, John, let me show you what must take place. So it is already happening right now. It's been happening for eons and eons, billions, trillions of years. It's just the way it is when you are a creator and you can speak things into being. No one, all the created beings can't help but, fall down and worship and praise and all that stuff. So buckle up. Here we go. As a quick overview, we have to remember that everything is written in code so that when people read it or picked it up, it wouldn't just say, hey, the Romans, the Rome will be the enemy. He called it the city on the 7 hills because the Christians knew that meant Rome. And of course, the reality is that it's just all happening. It's overwhelming him. He can't understand what in the world is going on, right? And all of a sudden he hears something, and he's on the island of Patmos, so he's confused. He doesn't really know what's going on. And so this is the account of what happened in chapter 4 of Revelation. Okay, here we go. John said, after this I looked, and before me was a door standing open in heaven. And the voice I first heard was speaking, and you're going to hear lots of like, because he can't explain it. It was like. So either way, he heard a voice, and it was speaking like a trumpet. And the voice said, come up here, and I will show you what must take place after this. So it's obviously Jesus. He's the he clearly, communicated with John that he's going to reveal things to him. So Jesus was talking to him, and it sounded like a trumpet saying, come up here, and I'm going to show you what must take place. So at once I was caught in the Spirit, and there before me was a throne in heaven with something or someone sitting on it. And the one who sat there had the appearance of jasper and of ruby, a rainbow that shone like an emerald encircled the throne. There we go, like. It's like an emerald throne, rainbow encircled the throne. And then surrounding that throne were 24 other thrones. And seated on them were 24 elders. And they were like dressed in white and had crowns of gold on their heads. From the throne came flashes of lightning, rumblings, and peals of thunder. In front of the throne, there were 7 lamps, and they were blazing. These are the 7 spirits of our Creator. Also in front of the throne was that what looked like a sea of glass, clear as crystal. That's how John described it. It looked like a sea of glass, and it was clear like crystal. And in the center around the throne were 4 living creatures, and they were covered with eyes in front and in back. The first living creature was like a lion. The second was like an ox. The third had a face like a man. All those likes. He couldn't help himself. But the fourth was like a flying eagle. Each of the 4 living creatures had 6 wings and were covered with eyes all around, even under its wings. Day and night, they never stopped saying, holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. Our Creator is holy. Father, Son, and Spirit. Holy, holy, holy. Who was and is to come. Whenever the living creatures give glory, honor, and thanks to him who sits on the throne and who lives forever and ever, that's Jesus, Father, Son, and Spirit, they live forever and ever. The 24 elders fell down before him who sits on the throne, and they worship him who lives forever and ever. They lay their crowns before the throne and they say, "You are worthy, our Lord and Creator, to receive glory and honor and power. For you created all things. Everything was created by you, Father, Son, and Spirit. You are our Creator. And by your will, they were created and have their being. To this day, they're existing. Everything that was created by the Father, Son, and Spirit. And now we all have our being, including us, who can read this and finally get a glimpse of heaven. But that is what's going on in heaven. We got to see what John saw, but the exciting thing is that this has been going on and on and on forever. They keep doing this. This is what's going on in heaven. Remember, in the Good Book overview, the final Revelation number 2, we said that we have to accept it, that there is another reality. So meanwhile, not in heaven where the Creator is and all this is going down, on earth, this is our time to preach and teach and to expand the kingdom of heaven. Isn't that exciting? The Creator uses us to expand the kingdom. The population grows every time we spread the good news and someone receives Jesus and starts a personal relationship. Yeah, you just added another soul, another bride for Jesus, so that when we do go up there, this is what we're going to experience. We're going to see all of this, what John just saw. And that, of course, is encouraging to John. It's encouraging because now he can pass it on to the other believers who are being massacred. Caesar, he's like already wiped out 40,000, not 4,000, 40,000 Christians. And I bet they're saying, like, our Creator, what's going on? Is this your will? Are you allowing all your children to be wiped out? Well, that one's a hard one to understand. But those who are reading definitely encourage them that John can tell them about this beautiful place called heaven, and around the throne room what is going on. And everyone's just, the 24 elders fell down and worshiped him. They laid their crowns in front of our Creator, and they said, "Holy, holy, holy, and worthy, worthy, worthy. You are worthy." And so we too will have to confess. And this is an opportunity right now for you to say yes, because everyone is going to bow their knee to Jesus. Everyone is going to confess that Jesus is the Lord God Almighty. Father, Son, and Spirit did everything they could to make sure that we understood about heaven and how serious it was. And now we get a glimpse of the throne room and 24 elders, and it's going to be exciting. It continues to say that the streets were like gold. Right here we have pavement that we walk on, or cement, but there we walk on gold. That's, the beautiful thing is that to them it's the Creator. He can make as much gold as he wants. But for us here, it's really kind of complicated because we have it like the gold standard, right? All the finances and wealth and all these billionaires, they mark it by the gold standard. And up there, gold is just pavement. You walk on it, right? So that's exciting. And then we'll get to see that crystal sea that looked like glass. And I look forward to seeing the golden streets. I look forward to seeing the crystal sea. I look forward to seeing the emerald throne that encircled, our Creators. So it is going to be exciting. He had to keep saying like, because why? It's like that, like Jasper. There's no words that he can describe because it's heaven. They have a different standard there. But the exciting news too, now that we're talking about heaven, is that there's no tears in heaven. There will be no tears. You're not going to be crying or sad, because you'll see the reality of our Creator, and we're with Him and He's with us, and that's all that matters, is that we love Him. And up there too, even though we'll start learning about things and seeing things for the first time, it'll be hard to explain why there will be no tears. And Jesus also, when He was on earth, He said, oh no, you guys don't understand. In heaven, there's not going to be marriage and given in marriage, because we will all be souls saved, the bride of Christ. There is no male or female. It's just us. So exciting news. You can take that to the bank, because it's going to happen no matter what. We can try to figure out in our lives, what is this? Why am I here? What happens to me when I die? Well, there it is. When your last breath here is your first breath there. You close your eyes, you open them up there, and guess what? It's going to be glorious. You're going to see gold, and you're going to see the reality of no more crying, no more marriage, no more nothing. It's just going to be about Jesus, our Creator, and loving Him and being His bride, and just praising and worshiping Him. We probably will bow down to our knees and confess that He is Lord, and then we're going to say, worthy, 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 worthy is Jesus. The Father, Son, and Spirit are all worthy. And so we can glorify with them and pronounce the same things that John saw. And you can bet that this glimpse will encourage you. I don't know about you, but I want to tell everyone, I want to send this message to everyone now, so that they can understand and get that same glimpse of glory, so that there's no misunderstanding. Well, why didn't you tell me about heaven? Had I known about heaven, I would have definitely said yes to Jesus. Well, here it is. If you're watching this video, before millions of people have disappeared, actually billion, it's got to be at least a billion that will disappear and be caught up to meet the Lord. And so if we've already been gone, well, you too can get a glimpse of heaven, and you too can decide who you're going to worship, because that's really all Revelation is about. You'll see in the coming overviews that the reality is only that it is about worship. And it's been like that. If you really look at the first in Genesis there, right, where the Lucifer, a fallen angel who then became Satan and the devil, but that's what he said. No, I can do better. Just set me up on the throne. You'll see. Everyone will be able to be God and create, and just wait, I'll make it perfect. Well, there it is in Genesis. Already he said, worship me. And then thousands of years later, 4,000 years later, Jesus comes along, and guess what? The devil goes to him and says, hey, worship me and I'll give you all this, earth. And no, Jesus said we have to only worship the Father. So there it is. There's the truth. You can think about all you want, but throughout history, Bible history, and just our history too, it's man wanting to be worshipped, and they'd make all kinds of 60-foot idols and say, you gotta bow down and worship me, right? So we have the Bible consistently, men getting so crazy in their heads that they think that they are the creator, and then they make golden statues of themselves and force human beings to worship them. Well, that happened for 4,000 years over and over again in the Bible. Then Jesus too was tempted in the wilderness because the devil said, hey, or I like to call him the evil one, because that's what Jesus called him. So the evil one said, hey, come and worship me. That didn't work. So now here we are in the last book of the Bible, and guess what? Again, worship me. Fall down, bow down, and worship me. And I think that's the harder part to understand, but really the book of Revelation, even though it's got a lot of crazy stuff in it, the reality is still, it's in the end, the enemy, the evil one, is going to convince the world leaders to, again, worship me. That's what they're going to say. Worship me, worship me, worship me. If you don't, I'll kill you. Well, that happened throughout the whole Old Testament. And you have to understand that you don't have to bow down. You don't have to submit. And you can say what Jesus said, I will only worship the Creator. I am not going to worship any man. And so now's a perfect time. Perfect time. Now that we got a glimpse of heaven through John's eyes, we can say the same thing. Just wherever you are, however you are, just kneel, bow down and confess that Jesus is Lord. And then even better, then start a relationship with him, because he doesn't want you to be fearful, like I'm going to, fear you into heaven. No, he only wants willing servants to go there and to worship him. And so if you do, and you say, yeah, I want to be there, I want to be Jesus's bride, well, then that's all you do. You confess that Jesus is Lord, and you ask him for forgiveness. It's just that simple. Please forgive me for all the wrong that I've done. Lead me all the way to heaven. I'm going to worship you forever and ever. I will worship no man. And there it is. There's the profession. And once you confess that and profess it sincerely, you're in. That's it. Now, granted, there's a lot of work still to be done, but now that you've prayed that prayer and you're now part of the, end time prophecy, well, then now you have to get busy. And please use churchinthecloud.cloud. Churchinthecloud.cloud is our website. And go to Pray, Click, and Send, because everything should motivate you to spread the good news. And you don't have to be a long-time Christian and hundreds of Bible studies. No, you have to do just like the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman. She ran, dropped everything that she was doing, and she ran and told her friends and family, hey, you got to come and see. You got to come and see. Because what? Jesus just announced to a woman, and a Samaritan woman, even worse, that he is the Messiah and he's here. And so she was excited to share the good news. So you too can share the good news. Please log on and click on Pray, Click, and Send, and pray about who you want to send it to, friends, family, even strangers. You click on it, you pray, and then you send the little message, 30-second to a minute message, introducing them and inviting them to start a relationship with Jesus. And there you go. Now you're in the family and you're doing work already. Why? Because there's like no time left. I've been in faith over 50 years. Like, that's a half a century. Are you kidding? You don't have a half a century to learn everything. So that's why I'm going to teach you the basics, so that you can immediately start spreading the good news and sending all this out to everyone that you know, so that they too can be updated spiritually. So I love you and I wish you well, and look forward to seeing you by the crystal sea that's like glass. But in the meantime, please go to the churchinthecloud.cloud and go to Pray, Click, and Send. You don't have to say anything. We'll do all the talking. You just send it out to as many as you know. And hopefully one day in heaven, they're going to come up to you and say, hey, Jesus just told me you're the one who sent me that video. And I got a glimpse of heaven and I wanted it. And so I said yes to Jesus. And now I'm here because of you and your faithfulness to send me these videos or introduce me to the Church in the Cloud. So there you go. Welcome to the family.